Welcome to Story Cinema. Spoilers ahead. Enjoy the story. Have a good day. And please subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you.
The movie starts in the Pacific Ocean, where a heat storm has diverted a shipment from a big company to a nearby island. Once the storm passes, a group of otters discovers strange containers that washed up on their shore. As the youngest member of the group climbs on top of one of the boxes, it accidentally activates a robot. Otters step back in fear as their bot emerges from the container, introducing itself as the Universal Dynamics Utilitarian Robot. It names itself Rozzum 7134, but prefers to be called Roz. Roz informs the otter that it can follow commands, but the otter don't understand and run away. Suddenly, a massive wave crashes in, and Roz tries to escape by climbing a high mountain. After several failed attempts, it observes a crab successfully climbing and decides to mimic its movements, eventually reaching the top. Roz then scans the crab to see if it's the owner or if it needs help, but it gets no answers. Realizing it's alone, Roz looks for other animals in the forest to find its rightful owner. Roz attempts to assist the animals, but they reject her and push her away. Despite her efforts to connect, they continue to make life hard for her. Feeling down, Roz enters the learning mode to understand the animals and their language better. After sitting quietly for days, she successfully downloads all animal languages. Now able to understand them, one of the locals questions if she was sent to harm them. Roz tries to explain her mission, but the animals panic and flee. In response, Roz activates her transmitting antenna to contact her company, but it breaks during another storm, causing a huge crash. When Roz regains her senses, she spots some raccoons try to steal her parts. She manages to fend them off, but one raccoon escapes with her antenna. Roz chases after it, ending up in a bear's cave. Although she retrieves her antenna, this puts her in danger as the bear tries to attack. Roz narrowly escapes and lands in a nest, destroying a goose and its egg. Except for one. She tries to protect the lost egg, but a clever fox named Fink snatches it away. Roz chases the Fink, and after a long pursuit, manages to get the egg back. The Fink gets into trouble with the porcupine, but Roz saves him. Just then, the egg hatches into a gosling, who looks at Roz as if she is its mother. Although Roz feels her mission with the gosling is done, it keeps returning to her. Then Roz sees a mother possum with her babies and quickly places the gosling among them. The mother possum notices and hands the gosling back to Roz. At first, she pretends to be dead out of fear, but once she sees Roz means no harm, she returns the gosling. Roz insists she cannot take the gosling back, saying it has been following her. The mother possum tells Roz she is now a mother and must take care of it. Roz declines, explaining that her priority is to return to the factory. The mother possum insists that Roz must teach the gosling to swim and fly before winter migration. Roz begins her parenting journey, determined to feed the gosling, teaching it to swim and eventually fly. However, she proves to be an ineffective mother, with every attempt resulting in failure. The fox Fink decides to help her, though Roz is hesitant to trust him, since he once tried to eat the gosling. The fox promises he has changed and just wants to help. He takes Roz to hunt for food, but it becomes clear he only wanted to fill out his own belly. The gosling refuses to eat what the fox suggests, so he quickly brings out earthworms, knowing that was what the gosling really needed. With one task complete, Roz moves on to teaching the gosling how to swim. The fox advises that they need to keep the gosling safe from the wild animals, so together they build a shelter. That night, Roz tries to name the gosling using numbers, but the fox suggests giving it a more meaningful name. Roz names the gosling Brightbill because of its shiny eyes. Brightbill struggles to sleep, and the fox-wing suggests Roz tell him a bedtime story. When Roz can't come up with a tale, she makes up a fictional story about how she made Brightbill's mother, filled with many happy moments to help him relax. Over time, Brightbill grows into a goose, with Roz teaching him how to swim. The fox believes Brightbill is now old enough to face challenges on his own, so he pushes him into the river to help him improve his swimming. As Brightbill struggles, Roz fears he might drown, so she sends part of herself to guide him. While swimming, Brightbill meets other geese who bully him for not being able to swim like them. They taunt him, telling him he's the child of a monster and shouldn't call Roz his mother. When Roz sees the bullying pushes Brightbill in danger, she rushes to his help. The other geese accuse Roz of having killed Brightbill's real parents, leaving him sad and upset. Later, Brightbill confronts Roz, demanding to know the truth about his real mother. Roz explains that it was all an accident and didn't tell him because she thought it wouldn't help him. During their argument, Brightbill scolds Roz for hiding such information from him. Disappointed, he storms off, declaring that Roz isn't his real mom, and he feels hopeless about learning to swim and fly. Feeling resentful, he decides to leave. Meanwhile, Roz finds another module from the wreckage of the Rozzum robots. She activates it and learns more about her origin and purpose. While trying to resolve her growing emotions, Roz discovers she's been overriding her programming. The module, confused, suggests that she's malfunctioning and needs to return to the factory. It provides her with a transmitter to contact her creator. Just then, the module shuts down. In an emotional moment, the Fink finds Roz alone. She shares her feeling of having ruined everything and her desire to return to her community for repairs. The Fink tries to convince her to stay and finish the task, but Roz feels Brightbill no longer needs her. The Fink insists that time is running out for Brightbill, since winter migration is approaching. Roz reluctantly agrees, and they approach Brightbill. Initially, he refuses their help, claiming they don't know how to fly. Roz reassures him that she won't give up, and once he learns everything, they can part ways. Over the next few days, Roz teaches Brightbill all she knows about flying, but he struggles. Other geese mock him, saying his wings are too small to fly high. Roz introduces a new teacher, Thunderbolt, who motivates Brightbill. With Thunderbolt's encouragement, Brightbill learns to fly and navigate the skies. Just as Brightbill is practicing, Longneck, a leader of the goose migration, commends Roz for her excellent work, stating he's been watching their training. Longneck encourages Roz to continue helping Brightbill, as they'll depart in a week. He tells Roz to focus on training him for endurance, given the challenging journey ahead. Brightbill trains hard, preparing for migration. On migration day, Brightbill thanks Roz for everything she has done, and promises to keep her in his heart. He requests a boost as he prepares to join the flock, finding it hard to let go. He asks if Roz will be around when he returns, but she doubts it. With a heavy heart, he lets go, and Roz holds back tears, realizing how attached she has become. When the Fink approaches, they both try to hide their emotions and act like everything is normal. As winter arrives, all the animals seek shelter in caves. Roz activates her communication module and soon appears at the Universal Dynamics headquarters before shutting it off. We then see Brightbill, regretting not saying goodbye to Roz. Longneck comforts him, reminding him that feelings can still be communicated through the heart. Suddenly, a thunderstorm forces the geese to hide in a futuristic greenhouse. Brightbill spots a Rozzum robot and mistakenly believes it's Roz, but the robots start attacking the birds, thinking they're pests. Longneck notices Brightbill isn't afraid of the robots due to his connection with Roz, and asks him to lead the flock away to safety. As they escape, the robots fire lasers, and Longneck sacrifices himself to save the flock. The scene shifts back to Roz, who wakes up in her shelter and finds the Fink. He informs her about the severe winter and how everyone is hiding. Roz realizes the animals are in danger, but the Fink shows indifference, ready to take the jungle for himself. Roz encourages him, stating that they never liked him and now is his chance to be a hero. They decide to rescue all the animals and bring them to safety. Roz manages to save both land and sea animals, even a fierce bear. But the dangerous snowstorm leaves her exhausted and weak. The chaotic environment leads to fighting among the animals. The fox, frustrated, urges everyone to calm down. He gives a heartfelt speech, reminding them they owe their lives to Roz's kindness. The same robot they have labeled as a monster. The animals start to recognize their mistakes and feel remorse. Roz requests a truce as a final wish before shutting down, telling them they don't have to stick to their old ways. They agree, and the bear promises to maintain peace at least for winter. Later, as spring arrives, Roz watches from afar as the geese return, gathering to honor Brightbill as their hero. She feels joy seeing Brightbill with his family, and decides to leave. Meanwhile, the Fink tells Brightbill that Roz has been waiting for him, but they can't find her anymore. As Roz heads back to the factory, she sees a Universal Dynamics dropship arrive. The robot Ventra descends, introducing herself and stating that Roz has been sought after since the transmitter beacon alerted headquarters. They want to bring her back to study her unusual changes. Reluctantly, Roz agrees to go with Ventra. However, the Fink reveals that Brightbill wants to see Roz and has been searching for her. Roz makes an excuse to leave the ship, determined to find a way to stay. Ventra sends an army of robots after her, firing lasers that destroy the jungle. The bear helps the Fink and Roz escape the chaos and kill robots. Suddenly, all the animals unite to fight against the robots. As the machines are defeated, Ventra commands the remaining robots to self-destruct, igniting a massive forest fire, while dragging Roz onto her ship with a tractor beam. Amid the chaos, Brightbill leads the geese to attack the dropship. Ventra notices their approach and pulls out her lasers, but Brightbill is determined. He infiltrates the ship, finds Roz completely shut down, but somehow she weakens. Together they defeat Ventra and fly out just before the ship explodes. Meanwhile, the other animals band together to put out the fire using teamwork. After their victory, Roz surveys the destruction and understands that Universal Dynamics will keep sending more robots after her. She decides to leave the animals for their safety. Despite their promises to stand by her and fight, she insists she has matter to address at the factory. As she departs, the animals unite, with the Fink becoming a great storyteller. After some time, Roz is seen working in a greenhouse, acting like a typical robot, walking around her creators. However, when she sees Brightbill, her emotional side shines through, and they share a heartfelt connection. And that's where the film ends.
Please subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you.